This segment has been sponsored by Pro Bikes Caribe. Pro Bikes Caribe, get yours today. Before we get into today's interview, hear a little bit about the book from the author themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Kimmora Ward and the name of my book is Goodbye Bipolar, A Healing Journey. It is a self-help book and it is for all age groups. A little information about my book is that I have had bipolar, or I was diagnosed with the mental condition at the age of 19 in the UK, and I have over 20 years lived experience whereby I'm able to give tips and advice on how to curtail the amount of episodes that one may encounter. So basically, I tell in the book how I keep well and how I thrive rather than just survive in life. My book can be had on all Amazon platforms.
Greetings, listenership. Welcome to TLC, Tropical Literature Creatives, the podcast where we interview authors of Caribbean heritage about themselves and about their literary works. Today we have with us a woman from Montserrat who is an auditor by profession and who is an author of not one but two books. One of the books in particular is of personal significance to her, and the title of which is Goodbye Bipolar, A Healing Journey. And I welcome you now, Miss Kimmora Ward.
Good afternoon. How are you? I am pleased to be here on your interview, and I'm pleased to be invited to do this with you.
Tropical Literature Creatives is very pleased to have you, Miss Ward.
Thank you.
For those of us who are just tuning in for the very first time and do not know who Kimmora Ward is, nor we are acquainted with the book that she would have written, can you give us a little details about the book itself, just a little bit, so that it would just get us interested in finding out more about it?
Okay, Goodbye Bipolar, A Healing Journey is a self-help book that I would have created, and I would have gotten the idea based on sitting with myself in my quiet solitude time, and it lends to help persons with a mental condition, or even persons who deal with people with mental health conditions, to give them advice on how to cope, or give them extensive advice on how I would have coped or how I live and thrive with bipolar disorder. Because I not only live and get by, I thrive. So I decided to put it in a personal help book, self-help book.
As you say, personal, obviously having the condition yourself and putting pen to paper, it makes it a bit more personal than most. Can you share what inspired you to transform your own experience with the disorder into a book that could potentially help countless others?
What had inspired me really is that I found that a lot of persons would meet me and say, if I said to them, okay, you know that I have bipolar, they say, no, that didn't really, you don't strike me as a bipolar individual or what have you. And because of this, like I would have alluded to just recently, I was on my porch one Saturday morning and I was in my quiet time, and I said to myself, self said to me, because I knew that it was God or my higher self speaking to me, and what I got from it is like, hey, why don't you write a book explaining how you deal with your mental disorder, and this can be helpful, this can help others. So I decided to do it. I made an oath with myself. I held myself accountable. I would have shared it with one or two persons, but I never really let the cat out of the bag. I just went into my quiet space, and I would set out times to write when I was going to be writing. I would wake up early in the mornings and stuff like that. So that is what I did, and it was simply based on the fact that I wanted to help others, and persons would always be so taken aback when I said to them, oh, I'm bipolar. So I said, let me just do this. Let me put it in the form of a book, because like you would have mentioned, I am the author of another book, and I said, let me just be creative and write. because I'm a journaler and I like to write, and I said it can be very useful for others out there. So let me do this.
Okay. That one of the things that I found out about you when doing my research is that you were the member of the Rotary Club at some point in time. So I'm not too sure if it's just altruism in you or if it's just the natural inclination towards being in that role that's just coming to the surface.
Yes, but because before I'm a Rotarian, I would have been the human being that I am, and that would have allowed me to enter the space of Rotary. So I would dare to say that this is just me. This is the Kimmora that would want to help others, the want to be an advocate and that sort of thing.
It sounds like one Kimmora, but at the same time you have different roles and different titles and different portfolios that different sides to the same person.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
You come from the island of Montserrat, and you're not the first person from Montserrat who I have spoken to. And one from there talks about how serene it is.
Yes.
How has the island's environment influenced your journey, both in terms of the challenges and in terms of support?
Okay, so in terms of challenges and support based on the environment of Montserrat, I would dare say that there's not many challenges I find, because like you would have said, the island is serene. So the environment lends to a healthy you, a healthy person, because there's sun, there's sea, there's sand, there's beaches, there's places you can walk to if you are health inclined. Because I like to exercise, and because exercising helps too with mental health conditions, I'm living well. I do the exercises on hills, and I walk around, and because Montserrat is so serene, Montserrat is hilly, Montserrat is green, it really helps me, because when I walk, I see the beautiful mountain ranges, the greenery. It's really helpful. In terms of challenges, there's not many what I'm trying to say is that there's not many to the point that I can't even find one. Right? Because like I said, and I'm a beach person too. So I love to go to the beach side, and there's where I sit and I write in my journal, or I read, or I take a dip, or I go and have a drink. And it just lends to my overall wellness. So Montserrat is one of those places that I would big up. I would love to stay here and just be a very productive person in terms of as it relates to living here.
Okay. That sounds great. It sounds like Montserrat is the place to be. You have your activities to keep you active and to help with your mental health, as well as an environment that is conducive for you to be focused on work if it is that you do choose to apply yourself to it.
Yeah, very conducive to your mental health. If anyone is thinking that they need a getaway, they can check Montserrat. Montserrat is there for you.
Okay. Then Kimmora is there. In addition to being a member of the Rotary Club and an auditor, you're giving tourism a little nudge there as well. Yeah, heard it from Kimmora. Visit Montserrat.
Yes.
Be active, be productive, visit us. It leads me to my other question, and what I think is fascinating about you in particular is that one of your professions is that you're an auditor, which means that I imagine that it requires a job that requires a level of detail, organization, or a mindset that is that of an analyst. It's interesting because here it is someone who has the mind of an analyst, and you're writing books. For example, your Bipolar book. In addition to that, in doing my research, I learned that you wrote a book of poetry as well. So how do you balance your analytical mindset with your creative mindset to get stuff done?
That's an interesting question, I must say. But I'm an interesting person, and what I do, I link things sometimes. So although I am an auditor, and I am a compliance auditor to be exact, yes. So I look at rules and regulations and how persons abide by them and that kind of thing, and if they are indeed doing what they must as it relates to the rules and the regulations. And then the passion of writing, it's just something that comes with loving to read as well and loving to express myself. But like I said, there's a link. Sometimes I just link everything. Like times it's not like a large separation in my mind, or I have to shut off my auditing analytical skills, because even when I write, I have to analyze what I'm writing. I have to say, does this sound better here, preceding this statement, or should it come after? So I actually use the skill of an analyst or someone who has to be thorough in my work when I'm writing, if that answers your question. You
It does.
understand?
I do.
Yes. So I actually use I bounce off the two spectrums, and I say, you know what? I don't tie in the fact that I'm an auditor when it comes to my passion neither, but I also, like I said, tie in the skill set that I would have learned from my profession in my passion projects.
Same person, creative as well as analytical.
Yes. Yeah. Indeed. But that is the truth. You can be one individual, but you have many facets, and that's the beauty about having a brain. Once you have a brain, it's the way how you use it. And like bipolar is a mental condition, and mental being is a condition of the brain. You understand? But when you think about how you use your brain, like I am always bouncing apart, or I am always being introduced to the fact that we only use 1%. Most persons only use 1% of their brain, and that means that there's 99% there to be used. So I am one who wants to be as what's the word I want to use? I want to be as I want to make my brain useful, but the only way to do that is to stretch it and to exercise it and that kind of thing. So that's why I do a lot of writing, exercise what is like, offload what's in my brain on the paper, read, analyze, that kind of thing. And that is what I think makes me who I am as a writer. That would have been that helped to push me into the writing space.
Okay. Continuing along with your book in particular,
Yes.
it's filled with a lot of practical advice, and I think that's one of the beauties of what it is that you have put together. Can you share at least, let's say, one strategy that you discovered for managing bipolar disorder and living a fulfilling life in the Caribbean?
I would dare say that one of the major strategies that I've learned to try to employ is to sleep, get a good night's rest. You understand? Because when you are well rested, you can be very productive, you can be very useful in whatever venture you dare find yourself in. So I would advise those persons listening who may have a mental health condition, who may have bipolar in itself, who may be suffering from anything that takes away from joy, their joyful sense of living, to get sleep, get rest. Rest is paramount. When I am well rested, I can conquer any feat. You understand? So that's one of the main things, main practical advice I would give to anyone. Rest well.
I know some friends of mine who are listening to you right now, and when it is that this interview is done, they're going to message me and, George, I know you see what I'm telling you. All this time you're harassing me about how I like to sleep. The woman comes on your podcast and says, yes, sleep is important. So a lot of persons are going to be very relieved to hear a professional give that piece of advice.
Yes, indeed. I love it. Yes, it's true, but it's really true. Sleep is very important.
Okay, keeping the momentum with your book, what was your writing process like? Some persons they write when, as I see, as they would have said in the past, when the spirit or the zombie would have moved them.
Yes,
Others would have
yes.
had like a vision board that they would have compiled over time. What was your process like?
So guess what had happened to me? This is
Mm-hmm.
exactly what had happened to me. I literally sat down, and I don't know how it happened, but like I said, it was almost as if God inspired me to write this book. So I was led by the Holy Spirit, and I sat down and I outlined it almost like it was an outline. So I wrote all my chapters, like the titles of my chapters, and there are about 11 titles. So I wrote 11 chapters, the titles, and then I beefed them up. Then I sat down and I did the content. You understand? So that's what I did exactly.
Oh, it sounds like you broke it down. Like you had a high level plan, you broke it into pieces, and then you broke it into even more pieces, and you tackled it
Yes,
like that.
yes. So then I had my introduction. Then I had my one of my titles is called what's it? I should have had the book right next to me. That's not good. To how to live with your disorder, or how to, there's a word that I'm looking for. How to I'm losing it right now. How to be very, no, I'm not getting it. Let's
Yeah,
pass
we'll
because
come back.
I'm
We'll
not.
come back.
It's not coming to me. But I'm thinking. I want to say it because it's very important. I think I'm trying to say how to be. It's something to the sort of how to like how you accept. I'm getting it. I really wanted to get it. Thank God I did. How to accept your disorder. That's
Mhm.
one of the titles. How to accept your disorder. Because if you're in denial, that doesn't help at all. You cannot help yourself when you're in denial. So I have a chapter, one of the very first chapters will be called How to Accept Your Disorder, right? And then we flow into the other chapters of how I definitely live with the disorder, my day-to-day activities, how my nighttime routine goes, my daytime routine, how to have a support system, how to have balance your work life, and other such chapters.
Okay, okay. Uh, in terms of the book coming together, how long did it take for you to put it together as you described the process? Was it like a week, a month, a year?
No, it was from April. I started to write in April 2023, and I completed it in October 2023. So that was the range. How many months was that? Like April, May, June, July, August, September, October. About 6 months or thereabouts. And I would have published. I always try to publish my work around World Mental Health Day. And it was published, yes, World Mental Health Day is October 10th every year. So I published this book the 12th. And simply because when I had gone on to do my finalization with KDP, because I self-published with Amazon, I found that they didn't have that. They didn't have, the back date was up to the 12th. So I said, okay, fine, because we were already in October and they weren't allowing me to go beyond October 12th. So I just decided to publish it October 12th.
Okay. You sound like a criminal mastermind there. You're looking at the landscape. You know, you have your world health, mental health down later in the year. So you do your writings to publish a book to coincide with the day in question.
Indeed.
Yes.
That's what I did. That's what I did because that was actually my goal. I was like, I would like to finish this in time for that specific date.
Okay. Executed, man. Executed.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Doing a book like this, that is of a personal nature, I imagine that it could be emotionally taxing. Was the process seamless? Is it that you wrote like a chapter and you had to take like let's say like a 2 days off to gather it before you came back? Or was it a matter of that once it is that you started writing, you just didn't stop?
Sometimes I would take breaks and just for taking breaks sake, not because I was emotional or anything of the sort, because I really wanted to complete the project. I was so adamant. What's the word? I am looking for another word, and I was
Driven?
driven. I really wanted to complete it, and I said, this is what I'm going to be doing. Sometimes what I started to do, I started to write ad hocly. So I would write anytime. But what became a habit, I started because I'm an early riser, and I started to write in the mornings. So as soon as I woke up in the morning before work, I would take an hour or two and write. You understand? And then, yes, I would take breaks, probably like a day or two, and then I'll get right back to it because I knew I had a mission to accomplish. I knew I had a deadline, and I had given myself the deadline. So I had to, like I said, I didn't share it with many persons. So I was holding myself accountable, you understand, as it relates to the project. So I did what I had to do, and I accomplished it, and thank God I did, because now there's one more book out there to help persons, and I'm an advocate. I really want to help people with this. I don't want to say it's like a curse, and it's not a curse or anything. It's just a condition, and when persons understand the condition and understand what they need to do, because it's almost as if you have a non-communicable disease. You understand? It's a mental condition, yes, but it's almost like you have diabetes, you have blood pressure, you have to take medication for it, you have to do certain things to help you live a thriving life. You understand? But it's not a death sentence, and that is actually one of the opening sentences of my book. Yes, I was diagnosed with it, but it wasn't a death sentence for me.
Okay. No, I like that. I like that because again, when persons find themselves diagnosed with certain, like you say, conditions, etc., the initial thought is it's a death sentence. But I guess when you step back, and again, in your situation, that's someone who would have been in a situation similar to theirs that they would have overcome. And in your case, they are thriving. They're like, you know what? Maybe it isn't a death sentence after all. If she can do it, maybe I can do it too.
Exactly. That is what I'm trying to promote. I'm trying to promote that, hey, if I can conquer this, you can as well. That's the message I want to get across.
Okay. In terms of the feedback for the book, what has it been like so far?
It has been really good. The feedback has been lovely because persons that I don't even expect to read the book, they would reach out to me and say, you know what, Kimmora, I hope you do other projects because I enjoyed your book. Extensive reviews. And I am very pleased because they will say that this helps, this has opened my eyes, this has made me realize what mental health really is like and what I should do. And the reviews are really rewarding and persons will say, you know what, this was instrumental. You were like I told you, it was God who inspired me, and persons will say, you wrote this, God, the Spirit helped you to write this. If you understand what I'm saying, it's like this is a work of art. So when you hear people telling you things like that, it makes you feel good in your spirit. It makes you feel like you have accomplished something really good. I am just glad that I would have taken the bull by the horn, taken defeat or the feat, FEAT, to do this book. Because it's like I said, defeat just so I had to explain myself. But yeah, it really makes me feel good to get the compliments and for persons to be really giving the feedback that they do, because it shows that I did not waste my time or whatever. It's not that I even think that I would have wasted my time, but it's just to show that people appreciate what you do. Yeah.
With the success of this book, are there any plans for future writing projects or initiatives related to mental illness?
I would be letting the cat out the bag, but I feel yes, there will be future projects that I go into, and I think it would be yes along the same lines of mental health and mental condition and even bipolar, while for me to explore and to see what else I can learn and what else I can speak to. I feel like I would even explore bipolar, because what I do, I like to read books that speak about mental health. I like to listen to podcasts that speak about mental health. So as my information expands, I would dare go into another project as it relates to bipolar and that kind of thing. So when I get more information, I would write another book just to help persons with the condition or any other mental health condition. But it depends on me learning more.
Okay.
So I'm really in that season where I want to learn and understand mental health and mental health conditions.
Okay. All right. As we're getting closer to the end of the year, we're already in July, but well, I take that back. We're in August.
August, yes.
But I'm thinking that 2025 is like right around the corner.
Yes.
What should we expect maybe for the end of 2024 and maybe 2025 from Kimmora Ward?
Kimmora Ward, like I just really alluded to, will be in hibernation because I would be trying to learn things and understand and to more or less gather my thoughts, where I want to be, where I see myself, and that kind of thing. So I wouldn't really be putting projects out on that kind of thing because I haven't been working on anything. But like I said, I will be learning, I will be putting my feelers out, I will be researching and that sort of thing. So 2025, yes, I will be in a better position to put something out there. And like you already see that I love October, it might come out in October 2025, who knows.
Okay, all right. That being the case here, that brings us to the end of our interview. Ladies and gentlemen, Kimmora Ward, author, Goodbye Bipolar, as well as other literary books. Kimmora, thank you very much for agreeing to be interviewed by Tropical Literature Creatives.
You are most welcome, Tropical Literature Creatives. I had a very good interview and I thank you so much for inviting me.
No, the pleasure was all ours this evening, Miss Ward.
Yeah. Thank you.
You've been listening to TLC, Tropical Literature Creators. If you've heard something of interest or something you like, reach out to us. Reach out to our authors. Follow us on social media. We look forward to hearing from you.